Hello, everyone, and welcome to Coffee with Cannon. I'm having still problems with this orientation. It won't change. I'm gonna have to do it this way. Let me see. Here we go. Whoops. Gonna have to do it vertically. It's I'll figure it out one of these days, but for whatever reason, I don't see anyone in my chat right now, but it's Monday. Beautiful, beautiful day. Beautiful Monday, June 3rd. I'm hearing those trucks going by. I hear the trucks are coming, and it's a rolling round the bend. And I haven't seen the sunshine since I don't know when I've been. One person in the chat, one person with the thumbs up. They must have liked that Johnny Cash song. So one person in the chat, but 5 thumbs up. That's amazing. It's usually the other way around. So good weekend. We just had a very nice weekend. Aunt BB2 is here. Suhela, hey, been a long one. Dawn, grandma of 3. Elita Petty, good morning from Texas. All my exes live in Texas. That's what they say, But I don't have any exes, so they don't really live in Texas. But I like that expression, all my exes live in Texas. So, is everyone having a good day so far? It's early in the day. You could still have a screwed up day, right? So I was on yesterday with Mike Geary, and we covered that the sentencing of Chad Daybell. What a despicable human being, if you could even call that guy a human being. His Anne-Marie Lovejoy, hello, first time I ever caught you live. Great to see you. So he got sentenced to the death penalty for the murder of his wife and Tammy Daybell, and the 2 children of Lori Vallow, Joshua, as known as JJ, who was 7 years old, and Tylee Ryan, 16. And then there's other murders thrown in there, but the judge and the jury felt that he should get the death penalty. KP Johnson, hey Bill, what's your thoughts regarding 2 MOS hit in Queens? I read that 2 cops from the 115, they were trying to pull over a guy on a moped or a small motorcycle, whatever it was, and he was going the wrong way on a one-way street, and he shot at them. And he hit one of the cops right in the chest. Thank God his bulletproof vest saved his life. And the other cop, I think, got hit in the foot, and they shot the perp. I think he got hit in the leg or something. But one of the horrible things is he's not a migrant. He's an illegal alien. Let's make that clear, all right? There's a difference. There's this euphemism for illegal aliens, migrants. He's an illegal alien. And he came in through Texas. And he's from that part of Venezuela where a lot of the horrific street gangs from Venezuela are from. Laken Riley from Georgia was killed by a guy from Venezuela who's going on trial right now, is from that same part of Venezuela where all these youth gangs, and we're letting them in our country without having any idea that they're from these gangs, and no vetting of these people. And what does the guy do? He shoots at 2 cops in New York City. It's got to stop, but it won't, because and I don't want this to become a political show. This is Coffee with Cannon. It's a little lighter, We're here to just have our blood pressure. Shh. You can feel the air coming out. Pretend I'm like a yoga teacher. Go into your grasshopper pose. Stretch as you feel the muscles in your lower back extending, and you can feel the blood rushing to that area to heal and cure any injuries you may have. I've never been a yoga teacher. I've never, I don't even know if they say that. The Truth, you're very welcome. Fuzzy Doxy, 100% Bill illegals. Sherry Murray, guns are heavy in America. Yeah, I mean, The Truth, it's Complaining about illegal murders on the streets is a political issue. Should be something all can unite. I agree. I agree. But when you don't vet people coming into this country and you just open the gates, and then we don't even really know who they are, you know? If someone lived their whole life in another country, how do we find out who they are? How do we find out what their history is? How do we find out what their criminal records are? 101 in the chat, 34 with the thumbs up. So good to see everybody coming into the chat. I know it's busy. You know what's really sucking up all the air on YouTube is that Karen Reed case from Massachusetts. It's just everyone's glued to that. In the very beginning, I covered that, and I stopped covering it because it was such a toxic audience and people taking either one side or the other. And it really gets, and I see a lot of YouTubers, they're just like, oh, look at this evidence, look at that evidence, oh, they screwed up. It really makes me sick. There's no objectivity to it whatsoever. And even the content creators are taking which side, and then, you know, they can steer their audience to, anyway, I don't want to talk about that either. Suhela, Karen Reed won't end. I'm over it for the same reason. It's a very toxic audience that follows that. And I guess with the one side, it's okay that people, specifically one person, I don't even want to mention his name, you know, was tampering with witnesses. That's never okay. In any court of law, in any place in this country, or any country for that matter, to tamper with witnesses. It's hands off, but that's okay. Because if you're on his side, okay, you can tamper with witnesses. When I see that, it really is despicable, and it makes me sick. That's not our system. Grasshopper yoga pose. I didn't even know a grasshopper. It was in my mind from, you guys won't know unless you're as old as me, that show Kung Fu with David Carradine. And he would also go to the master, Master, yes, grasshopper. Is it true that a tree will give way to the wind so that it doesn't snap? So should I also give way to a bully so that I don't snap? Grasshopper, very good point. Just bend with the wind, but don't bend so much you will break. Same thing with a bully, grasshopper. Give a little, but once you reach where you can bend no more, you must take action, grasshopper. Thank you, master. NPB2, Barbara George, hello, police off the cuff. Only me, baby. Hey, good looking. Hey, good looking. What you got cooking? How's about cooking something up for me? Hey, sweet baby. How's about, baby? How's about cooking something up for me? That's an old Hank Williams tune, if you guys don't know. Kim Alliston's in the chat. Good to see you, Kim. Suhela Schmitty sounds educational. It's made an impact on Sergeant Bill. All I know is everybody was kung fu fighting. That's right. That was another tune, right? I'm not going to sing that one. Yeah, everyone thought that kung fu and karate were the martial arts until MMA came out. And people saw probably, and you may argue with me, probably the #1 martial art in this country or anywhere is wrestling. So now you get the foundation of wrestling. Some of the toughest guys in the world are wrestlers because it's such a hard sport. And then add to that jiu-jitsu, which no one even knew about until they started the MMA. And the Gracie family, I don't know if you remember them, the Brazilian jiu-jitsu, unbelievable martial art. Mixed jiu-jitsu with wrestling, very powerful. And then, of course, the third, they call it striking in MMA in the UFC, but it's actually boxing. So if you can box, you're a jiu-jitsu and a wrestler, you are the toughest MMA fighter that there could actually be. And many people have found that out the hard way, that boxers, they can't just be a boxer in MMA, because what will a guy fighting them try to do? Try to take them to the ground. And then you get into the position, old ground and pounder, take them to the ground and get them in some submission, rear naked choke or some jiu-jitsu thing that will make them. Tom Cusinelli, all cops should take jiu-jitsu nowadays. Tom, 100%. how they can just hold a guy at bay in a certain position. You're right. Every cop should know jiu-jitsu. It will save their lives. Tammy Crimes, have a blessed day. Barbara George, I remember wrestling on a Saturday night in the 70s. So guys, this is Coffee with Cannon, backyard beverage, bitchin' with Bill, whatever we want to call it. Coffee, cuffs, and Cannon. There's a million. I got a bug on my screen. I got to get him off. There we go. He was ejected with the finger. Boom. Go, bug, go. You know, there's a huge cricket, the World Cricket Championships. Not that any of us even know what cricket is. A huge cricket championships on Long Island, East Meadow, Long Island. For, I think that started on June 3rd, it may have been the 2nd. And so today, excuse me, I think it started on the 2nd. So countries from all over the world are playing. And the biggest game is between India and Pakistan. I believe it's on the 9th, June 9th. And they had some terroristic threat towards that game. I guess India and Pakistan don't get along with each other, those two countries. Mike Champlin, how you doing? Good to see you, Mike. Sana Elise Hoth Johnson, happy Coffee with Cannon. Coffee with Cannon. I hope you guys, I just have water today because I had my coffee earlier. I have my St. Thomas University, what is this called? This glass, anyway, I got this from Dr. Debbie Goodman when I went to St. Thomas University in northern Miami and actually gave a lecture on homicide. And she gave me this and a shirt and a hat and all kinds of other stuff. Dr. Debbie, if you're listening, thank you. Etch and Sketch, loyal follower. Can I get a channel shout out, please? Well, I'm struggling to keep drawing to nobody right now in God's strength. Etch a Sketch, is your channel called Etch a Sketch? And is it true crime? I'm not familiar with you. I would love to give you a shout out. What is your channel all about? Is it true crime? Mountain Cat, hi Bill, good to see you, Mountain Cat. 173 in the chat, 52 with the thumbs up. Heather, whatever has showed up. Good to see you, Heather. I moved my location here to another spot in my backyard because I like to move around. Estelle Pretorius, we are marching to Pretorius, right? Yes, it is. I'm a hyper realist artist. Etch a Sketch, well, thank you so much for joining the Police Off the Cuff Coffee with Cannon Backyard Beverage Bitchin' with Bill show. I'll take a look at your show, Etch a Sketch. I just can't blindly endorse you, but thank you. If you found this channel, you must be okay. Anne-Marie Lovejoy, any new news on that precious baby Maddie Soto? You know, there's been no news specifically about Jennifer Soto, who's the mom. And of course, everyone was waiting to hear if she was going to be arrested too in that case. And many of, I'm not going to say most, I can't speak for everybody, but myself, I believe that they have enough to arrest her. And even if the arrest would be for omission, failure to act when the law requires you to act. How she didn't know what was happening to her daughter for all those years, I don't buy it, you know. Etch a Sketch, I understand, thank you, that means the world. Well, thank you. Pauline Buckles, hello, Bill Schmitty. Yeah, what's the deal with Jay Soto? What is taking so long? You know, I don't know. There's sort of been like really no new news coming out in regards to that case. Madeline Soto, Stefan Stearns. I mean, that guy, you know, if ever anyone deserved the death penalty, he is absolutely one of them, right? Barbara George, why is it taking so long to arrest her? Well, I don't know. That's a good question. That's a very good question. We could argue that perhaps they're waiting for a decision whether to charge her or use her as a witness. I don't think they need to use her as a witness. I think that case is so strong against Stefan Stearns. 177 in the chat, 63 with the thumbs up. Guys, if you like this show, you love the show, give us a thumbs up. Coffee with Cannon. Backyard Beverage, Bitching with Bill. You guys said you wanted this show to come back. Bring it in. Bring it in. Come on, where's all my people from Ireland? Tammy Pauly, agreed. Jen needs to be arrested. Suhaila, like. Let's go to 100. Yes, as I drink my water. So, in the middle of June, I think I told you guys, I'm going to Denver, Colorado to visit my son who lives in Colorado. He works in cybersecurity, and he could literally work anywhere because he works on his computer. So he just chose to live in Denver. We just crossed 200, guys. 200 in the chat. 70 with the thumbs up. Come on, let's bring him in. I feel like that guy, JLR Investigates. You ever see him? Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. What? And he does this. I think I'm watching Romper Room from when I was a kid. I don't know if you guys would know. All the kids would be like this, waving and stuff to the TV cameras. But I'm not. Come on, I'm not stealing someone else's show. Shiloh Watts, Northern New York. Good to see you, Shiloh. And BB2, Sherry Murray, Suhaila. Look at all these. I want to see some Heather, whatever. Pauline, Nighthawk. There you are, Nighthawk. Good to see you, buddy. Rock Chalk. You're one of Rock Chalk's fans. Nighthawk, very good to see you. Nighthawk 08. Trisha Davis, love JLR Investigates. Look, I'm not going to say anything good or bad about the guy. I think it's sort of funny how he opens the show. Nap Connoisseur, I ate a sandwich in Denver 2 years ago and haven't stopped thinking about it since. I must order it again next time I go. Well, what was so memorable about the sandwich you ate in Denver? Mountain Cat, I call him Johnny 2 times because he says everything twice. That's from Goodfellas, right? That guy Johnny 2 times, that's right. Sharon Reynolds, nah, he's creepy. Ooh, puts out a hell of a lot of content. I mean, that guy sometimes puts out 4 or 5 videos a day. I don't know how he does it, you know. And it looks like a lot of times he's on location. How does he get to all these places? Or is he just putting the background of the location and injecting himself into it? I don't know. Patricia Baylor, true about says things twice. Exterior line 1930, my YouTube screen format changed recently. There are no thumbs on the screen anymore. I didn't find them on a menu. Kelly Walk, so good to see you. I really enjoy Coffee with Cannon live streams. Thank you for doing them. I was fighting with myself whether to do them or not, and I was just like, I like doing them. They're fun to do, and people kept asking me, why don't you do it again? Look at it. Nighthawk 08, look him up. You might change mine. Barbara George, never been to Colorado, but Arizona has beautiful red clay mountains. I Divine, hey, 4444. Ooh. Said Boy Maz, did you ever have a shootout with the mob? No, I never did. You guys, I know some of you watched. I put some. We interviewed Sammy the Bull Gravano a couple of years ago, and it was a little controversial because people questioned me like, why are you interviewing a murderer? He's a murderer. And I said, yeah, that's true. He is a murderer. But I used to interview murderers for the police department all the time. So now that I'm a podcaster, I can't interview murderers anymore. And realize this, Sammy the Bull Gravano's testimony basically destroyed the New York Mafia. Took them apart, He put John Gotti away for the rest of his life, and John Gotti died in prison, right? His testimony dismantled the Gambino crime family. So the government who offered him that deal to testify, you want to blame someone, then it's blame the government for giving Sammy the Bull that deal. Now he's free, he's a free man. Yeah, you might say, the guy was involved in 19 murders. Why is he free? I didn't cut that deal with him. The government did, right? And the government cuts deals with many people so that they can put away a bigger evil than is perceived for them. And Gone, thank you for your service, sir. Thank you so much. I always like when people do say that, thank you for your service, because I guess when you're a cop, and I say cop with the most reverence and the most respect, because if you know anything about that term, that little acronym, cop, It's from the British Bobbies, and it stands for Constable on Patrol. What a really nice way to describe the police, Constable on Patrol. But sometimes someone will say the cop, and they mean it as a disparaging term, but they don't realize. You just said, yeah, Constable on Patrol, and you want to be disparaging, you know? Because I almost say the only people that have a right to say cop or cops are other cops, you know? But obviously I can't. I'm not the English police. I can't. Mel Stiller, Constable on Patrol, yes. Helen, the Scottish Llama, sometimes you have to make a deal with the devil. Isn't that the truth? Sometimes you make a deal with the devil for the larger good of everyone. 215 in the chat. Let's get it to 300 today. Come on. 300, that's no big deal. 93 with the thumbs up. More thumbs up. I want to see people from all over the world. How about people that are watching the cricket tournament in Nassau County? They're from all over the world. They said billions of people are going to watch that cricket tournament. Unbelievable. I don't understand cricket. I don't know what it is, but supposedly there's more fans of cricket than there is for professional football. You know, we just don't have it as a sport in this country, but it's pretty amazing, right? That many people are fans, you know. That many people. Lisha Gallegos, I got to say that correctly. Lisha Gallegos. Hi, Bill. Hello, Lisha. I like saying your last name, Gallegos. Shows I took Spanish 101 at least, right? Sana Elise Hoth Johnson, love and hugs from me to you, my friend. Pauline Buckles. There's not a thumbs up in live chat. There's 97 thumbs up so far, guys. 201. Now it just dropped to 196, 200. We had up to 220 or 230. Let's get the chat up to 300. Call your friends. Bring your family in. Share us with your friends, your family, your neighbors. Shout out, police off the cuff. Coffee with Cannon is on, neighbors. You know, shout it out on one of those bullhorns. Coffee with Cannon is on live. You can see it, and he's in his garden, as the people from the Scotty Wagner's in the house, retired Manhattan North homicide detective. Scotty, shout out to you, brother. Good to see you. You know, Scotty, I just got a call from another TV show. I won't say the name on the air, but they want to do the Carmen Quinones Ruben Frederick case, which I've done like 3 times for other stations, and they want to start shooting it in June or July. So, you know, every once in a while I get called from these crime recreation shows. And I know I spoke about this before to you guys, but it's always funny to me because they always try to get cops to do it for nothing or for no money, like the lowest amount of money. And I have a certain level that I'm willing to leave my house for. And if you don't meet that, I won't do it. I'm not going to do it. And, you know, I think it's disrespectful for TV stations to not pay cops, because our time is worth nothing, and our stories that you're basing your TV show on isn't worth something. So if they don't pay me what I ask for, I won't do it. I really won't do it. And for one of them, actually the last one I did, I was on the phone with them probably, I don't know, I'll lowball it, 6 or 7 hours. Is that not worth something? I did 7 hours on the phone with you, telling you the story. So that's not worth me to get paid. So when it came down to it, I don't want to give up too much, but they wanted to pay me X. I said, no, if I don't get Y, I'm not doing it. So I got my price. Good negotiations, right? Schmitty, your time, your expertise. You know where it all came back to? I'll tell you where it all came back to. The TV show NYPD Blue. There was a producer, his name was Bill Clark. He was a retired NYPD detective. He used to get NYPD detectives to fly to California, right? They would stay at his house, and they would meet with writers for 10 or 12 hours in a day and give their stories to these writers. And then he would take them out to dinner. They would meet the cast of NYPD Blue, and they would return home. Nothing, no pay, zero. That's where this all came from, I think. And I think detectives that did that, you sold yourself out for nothing. You know, you sold yourself out. You shouldn't have gave your stories. You shouldn't have flown to California unless you got dead presidents on green pieces of paper, you know. And so many guys did it. And I'll just give you an example. The actor Sipowicz, that played Sipowicz, I forget his name right now, he was making $1 million per episode. Back then. The astonished man, remember that we used to call that, a million was an astonished man? He was making $1 million an episode, and they couldn't have paid these detectives flying in from New York, giving their stories, staying. They didn't even put them up at a hotel. They stayed at this guy's house, you know. But it's their fault. You should never agree to it, you know. No, I'm not doing it, you know. Absolutely not. Show me some money. Show me some green. Nina Chandra, morning, sir. Sorry I'm a little late. Didn't get a notification you were going to be here. We're on. Tom Kusina, I know because I used them when I tried cases back in the day. Tom, what are you referring to? I know because I used them when I tried cases back in the day. I'm not sure what you're referring to. Scotty Wagner, I was asked by Bill Clark to do it and I turned it down for that reason. Good for you, Scotty. I know many people did it. Many people did it for zero money. And it was, if all the detectives would have stood firm and said, no, we're not doing it unless you pay us. Tom Cusinelli, expert witnesses. England's in the house. Kath Collins from England, good to see you. 214, we had 225 in the chat. Now it's dropping. We're going up and down as waves, and you know. So let's get 300. I want 300 today. I was up to 2.25. We can get another 75. And the thumbs up are only 112. Let's get those thumbs up. Tom Cusinelli, the detectives are experts. You know something, Tom? You're 100% right. And you know something? Anyone that sells their expertise too cheaply, then it's cheapening your expertise. That's just the way I feel, you know. And I really think I'm for all the respect for former members of the service. You put your time in, you learn this trade, which is a trade that translates through all kinds of different areas, all countries, all over the world. Cops are cops. Roseanne, good morning. So yeah, I hate when cops sell themselves too cheaply. It's like someone calling you up and say, hey, would you do this security gig? Oh, well, what is it? Oh, well, it's 8 hours. You just gotta sit in a room. You can watch TV. And how much does it pay? $25 an hour. Click. You gotta be kidding me. Cops were getting $25 an hour 50 years ago. You know, 50. Can I sleep? You know, like, so, you know, people are, you know, buying your expertise, buying security, buying your gun because you're armed, it's armed security, and they want to give you $25 an hour. No, thank you. No, thank you, you know. Mel Stiller, very happy birthday to Pauline Buckles. Sending Pauline, happy birthday from Coffee with Cannon, Bitchin' with Bill, Backyard Beverage, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Lisha Gallegos, 100%. Robert Kummer, what do you think of the Karen Reed? You know, Robert, I was just talking about the Karen Reed trial. I do not cover it because it's such a toxic audience that covers that. And I think the YouTubers that do, of course, they took the side that the police are wrong, and that of course they do it, you know, and they're criticizing the evidence, the collection of evidence. The audience for that whole Karen Reed trial, it's too toxic. I did 2 episodes and it was like, I'm not doing it. It was a nasty crew of people. So the one and only Nicole, is that how Good Morning Pig? The one and only, you may be ejected quicker than you know unless you recant that statement, you know. Good Morning Pig. Mods, just send her into cyberspace, you know. What a greeting. Can you imagine that? Good morning, pig. Heather, whatever. Some cases are like a full moon. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to cover a case like that, you know, and I don't know. I don't even want to talk about it because Aunt BB2, yes, delete that. That's ridiculous, right? Kath Collins, you're right. Their toxic trial. I'm sure there was mistakes made in that case by the prosecution, by the police. However, to think that they just, you know, made up all the evidence and, you know, I don't think there was any evidence that he was ever in that house. That's the whole case right there. But, you know, I say that and people are like, yeah, you know, okay. Believe what you want. Roseanne, the treadmill murder case, not happy. Did you watch any of it? No, you know, there's so many, you know, I was looking at the, we just have come off, of course, the Micah Miller case, where she was married to that John Paul Miller, the pastor of the church in Myrtle Beach. He's a real piece of shit, that guy, John Paul Miller. And so we were covering that, and of course we're covering the Madeline Soto case, Stefan Stearns, Jennifer Soto. And I didn't cover the treadmill case. It's the disturbing case. You know, sometimes as you start covering these cases, you're just like, all right, let me cover something a little bit different, because it sometimes gets to you, you know, just like it did when you actually worked a real murder. Anne Marie Lovejoy, that Miller story is a sad one too. It's ridiculous, you know. She was on her way to a new life. She was only 30 years old. She was beautiful. 30 years old. She had really, I think, everything to look forward to. And this piece of shit, John Paul Miller, pastor. Oh, really? You're a man of the cloth and you were doing what? Stalking your wife? Putting naked photos of her on Facebook? And I'm sure there's a million other things they have on this guy. I want to see him in handcuffs, you know. Encyclopedia of True Crime and the Unknown. Did you hear about the body pulled from the Cumberland River in Nashville? People speculating his possible connection to Sebastian Rogers. Encyclopedia of Crime and the Unknown. I did not see that today, but thank you. I will check it out when I get off the air. Debbie Carroll, Sharon Reynolds. Yeah, we have so many big cases going on. I'm watching Piers Morgan interview with a killer. Pauline Buckles, yes, I think that John Paul Miller is mentally disturbed, as was Chad Daybell. That guy's out of his mind. That guy's nuts, but not nuts enough that he could get an insanity plea and use that, but he really missing some brain cells, I think, you know. So Debbie Carroll, Sergeant Bill, Rex is going to get another charge on Thursday. And what might that be, Debbie Carroll? What is he going to be charged with now? I didn't hear that. Yes, Kim Alston, Micah Miller had, you know, she had everything to live for. And, you know, something, I did point the finger at the police in that case because she made 14 reports against him. Why was he never arrested? An arrest would have chilled him out. It would absolutely have chilled that dude out. And I just don't understand why he was never arrested. And I can't, you know, beat a dead horse with that. But that Marcellina Cellini, disgusting man, evil Miller. Marcellina Cellini, what a great name. It almost has a rhythm to it. Marcellina Cellini, right? It's a great name. Debbie Carroll, Chad lived in our neighborhood and was best friends with my much older brother. I'm glad he's being held accountable. Absolutely, that guy is a sick dude, you know. The doomsday. You know, one of my things I was talking about too is like, could you imagine people that follow these guys? Religious people that follow John Paul Miller? Did you see when he gave his sermon, he had Micah's body? And he said, I tried to raise her from the dead. I want to get up on that stage and smack him right across his pompous face. He tried to raise. No, dude, you're a poor excuse for a human, not even for a pastor. And how dare you say that you tried to raise her from the dead? Disgusting. Roseanne, it truly does get to you. I followed treadmill case because it was New Jersey. As an ER nurse, seen too much. I had to watch. Love this channel. Roseanne, thank you. I love nurses. Nurses are great people. what a great job. What a job that helps so many people. Probably more people than almost any other job there is, you know. Helen the Scottish Llama, the Rex Human charges allegedly Jessica Taylor. Joseph Jackalone mentioned it on his channel on Saturday night. Well, we'll see. You know, they would have to connect probably DNA from that to his house some way. I don't know if Joe Jackalone has inside information. I know he's plugged in out there from, he knows a lot of people from John Jay and stuff like that. And he may have some inside information. Well, we'll see. You know, so many people, you know, the big case that everyone is crazy about is Shannon. What's Shannon? Trying to think of her last name. With the case where they alleged that she drowned in the swamp, and she was at the scene. She was at the scene to meet a client. She was working as a call girl. And it's Shannon Gilbert, Mountain Cat. Thanks. I don't know why I had a brain fart. I couldn't remember. There's so many different names in these things, and when you're covering it, you remember all the names. That one is, you know, so many people believe she was murdered. We had John Ray on our show. It got a little bombastic with that case, but I don't think that case, which was the catalyst to finding all the other bodies in the Gilgo case, I don't think Rex Human was involved in that one. And people can argue, in fact, it was ruled by the Suffolk County Medical Examiner as undetermined. And then they brought in Michael Baden, Dr. Michael Baden, who was the former New York City Chief Medical Examiner. I don't know if it was BC. The guy's like 90 years old, but he's still working, applying his trade as a expert witness. And he ruled, his findings were a little strange because he agreed with everything that the Suffolk County Medical Examiner said, except he said because he felt the hyoid bone was cracked, he was ruling it to be a homicide, homicidal asphyxia. So there's still Attorney John Ray still believes it's a homicide, but Suffolk County Medical Examiner ruled it wasn't so. That she, it's inconclusive to tell you the truth, but the Suffolk County Police don't believe it was a murder. So, will it forever be opened? Will it forever not be solved? I don't know. We'll see. 230 in the chat, 132 with the thumbs up. Come on, I want to cross 300 today. Can we cross 300 in the chat today to truly bring Coffee with Cannon back to the forefront, to give me encouragement to continue doing this show? I'm seeing some new names, but most of the names I'm seeing I recognize. We got to get some people. Shout out your windows. You people in Scotland, play the flugelhorn, blow it up in the neighborhood. Clayton Latone, what percentage of cases go unsolved? Well, Clayton, one of the things, probably 40%. If a homicide squad in an area solves 60% of their cases in a major like city, that's considered pretty good. But don't forget, homicide clearance rates, homicide, there's no statute of limitations. So a case that happened 30 years ago can be solved, this year, because they're always working on it. The Whispers of Weeping Wisdom. Is that your scream moniker? The Whispers of Weeping Wisdom? I like that. Suhaila, 49%. No, they're like, well, a good closing rate is 60%. Not all, but some small towns could say, oh, we have 100% clearance. How many homicides did you have? 5. Okay. That doesn't mean anything. There has to be a number of how many you had. in order to be considered. Sharina Spencer, hello, Sergeant Bill from Dorchester, United Kingdom. That's what I'm talking about. Some new people from the UK. Bring it home, bring it home. Mel Stiller, you're so generous. Maui Swift. I love Maui, man. I always see her pop in and out. I didn't see her name in the chat, though. Where is she? That's such a great name, too, Maui Swift, Tiggy, please may I ask if Shannon Ann was not murdered, what could possibly have caused her death? Tiggy, the police are maintaining that she ran into the swamp. She was disoriented, and she somehow succumbed to the exposure and drowned. That's what they're saying. Now, whether you believe that or not, which many people do not, Scotty Wagner back in the late 90s, we had over 70% clearance rate in the 2-3 squad. Scotty, it's possible a squad could have a rate higher than the borough rate or the citywide rate, because they could be a very talented squad, or you can get lucky and have homicides that are solvable. But when the rates are considered, of course, it would be the rate for the entire city, and then Manhattan North, and then Manhattan South. Manhattan South hardly got any murders at all. Some years they would get 10 or 15 or 8, So that's really not. Lovebug 53, good to see you. I like the hands. Jenny B, waiting to hear Jennifer Soto arrested. We were just talking about that before. K-Me, good to see all you good. 221 in the chat, 150 with the thumbs up. I'm seeing some new people from Nap Connoisseur. Can you explain the breakdown of how somewhere like Manhattan organizes its department? First of all, Manhattan, it's broken into precincts, right? So the north has 13 precincts, and the north of Manhattan is considered everything above 59th Street. That is in Manhattan. So, Kami, thank you for the $1 super sticker, very much appreciated. And then the south, I don't know exactly how many precincts, probably around the same. They're also broken into precincts, right? Each precinct has a commanding officer that is in charge of his precinct. Each precinct may have 150, 200. Manhattan South, the precinct, known as I think it's the 18th precinct when they give it a number, they have 400 or 500 cops because it's such a big precinct, all right? Roseanne, ooh, I missed it. No, I didn't hear that they arrested Jennifer Soto. Where did you get that from? We didn't hear that. People are asking, when will Jennifer Soto be arrested? I'm not on YouTube right now, so I haven't seen anything. I don't believe that's true. Let's not spread any rumors, because we want to only spread the truth here, and I didn't see that. Again, to the question and how it's broken down, and then of course each precinct will have so many. They'll have a commanding officer, an executive officer, then they'll have lieutenants that do different jobs. There's an integrity control officer. There's the lieutenants that run specialized units, and then there's lieutenants that will have different responsibility for different squads. And then there's sergeants that have different squads. And now you've got to remember, a precinct has to turn out 3 tours, 8 to 4, 4 to 12, and midnight to 8. So I hope I answered your questions. And then the command structure is, there's always a 2-star chief in charge of the borough, a patrol chief. And he's the borough commander. And then he has an executive. And then he has inspectors and deputy inspectors, and that's the command structure at the top of the borough. I'm not going to spend the whole show explaining the whole command structure of the NYPD, but I gave you a quick synopsis. I don't see Maui Swift. Tiggy, Mountain Cat was not called on if she was last seen before daylight by a neighbor in the road. Now, I don't know what you're exactly speaking about, Tiggy. This is Coffee with Cannon. Backyard beverage, bitchin' with Bill. I want to welcome everyone for coming in today because Barbara, hello. Natalie James, thank you so much for the $9.99 super sticker. Very much appreciated. This show does cost money to produce. You see, I'm sitting in my backyard. But Natalie James, thank you so much. And thank you everyone that contributes to the show, even just by subscribing. And if you're not subscribed, go on our YouTube. And of course, that's the Police Off the Cuff YouTube. Give us a thumbs up. Ring that bell. Hit the like button. Share us with your friends and your family. Natalie James, you caught me live. Yes, thank you so much. And the other thing, if you want to contribute, we have a Patreon with 4 different levels. That's 4. And you can contribute that way. And if you want to join us, we have a YouTube channel memberships with 5 different levels. And you can join our YouTube channel and become a subscriber and get additional content, get, to talk, get to correspond with the Supreme Commander. Let me get a little... one time I posted something on YouTube about the Supreme Commander, and YouTube censored it because they thought I was like referring to religion. And I was like, has nothing to do with that. And I was like, they like misinterpreted it, Nap Connoisseur, did you see Charlie Adelson was moved to South Dakota? His recent booking photos looks awful. When someone that has a good life goes to prison, they're not used to it, man. And having your freedom taken from you when you've always been a lawful, abiding citizen, and you're affluent, you got lots of money, and you come and go as you please, you have a nice house, you have a car, you love life, and then you're put in prison for the rest of your life, he's not going to do well, No. He's not going to adjust too well. I was following that on Adelson. I didn't know that he was transferred to another location. I had seen that he was having problems in prison, adjusting and with the other inmates. Tiggy, if you listen to John Ray talking about the case, he has been there at the time of day, same temperature. It would not have been possible. The swamp was not as described by the media. Look, I'm just reporting to you. I didn't investigate that case. And BB2, Sergeant Bill, remember when you tried to use Supreme Commander on the coffee cup in the first cup? Yeah, that's exactly right. I used Supreme Commander on the cup, and they rejected it because they thought it was some like religious thing. I said, no, it's a joke. My anti-crime cops, I used to tell them to call me the Supreme Commander. It was an absolute humorous thing meant to be funny, but YouTube didn't think it was funny. Hey, it's Jay. Good morning. Good morning, yesterday. You wake up and time has slipped away, and suddenly you got to find the memories you left behind. Remember? Do you remember the times of your life? That should be a Frank Sinatra tune. Retretta, hi there. How are you today? Like your channel. I'm an ex-New Yorker. Don't miss it. Sad for New York City. Well, Retretta, thank you for coming by. Always good to see you. 209 in the chat, 156 with the thumbs up. I was thinking we could hit 300 today. I mean, do I have to stay on all day to hit 300? Girl Interrupted with a heart. Good to see you. Roseanne, you missed your calling. Kim Al, Sergeant Bill is a great guy. I have learned to be less serious, though. You're a great person. Thank you, Kim. Kim is one of our greatest moderators, and I'm glad that Kim hopefully has turned the corner with a few health issues because she's back. And she wasn't back for a while, but she's back. So I'm happy that she's back. Heather, whatever. Great song, great voice. Thank you, guys. Always when you do this, these channels, when you do a YouTube channel, specifically Police Off the Cuff, I have been doing this. February will be almost 5 years, but it's you take a lot. There's a lot of like bumps in the road, Like when I first started doing this, I did it with a retired detective named Mark DeMeo, who was also a stand-up comic. And the show was totally different than it is now, because we had to learn from our mistakes. We had to learn what was the most suitable kind of content we should put on YouTube. Johanna James just tuned in from the Highlands of Scotland. Oh man, I got to learn that tune. I don't know all the words. All the sun is surely shining, and the wild mountain thyme rolls around the blooming heather. Will you go, lassie, go? I will build my love a bower, la 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 la, and together we will climb all the flowers on the mountain. Will you go, lassie, go? I don't know all the words. I love that song. It's such a beautiful melody, you know. The Elder Jam, you're not a real police officer. I was the real Popo for 27 years. I was a NYPD. I was a sergeant for 22 years out of those 27. My last 10 in Manhattan North Homicide Squad. So yes, I was the real Popo, the real police, as they say. See, when someone says we're the police, you know they worked uptown in Harlem, because that's how they say it in Harlem. The police are here, and you say the Popo, you know. So I gladly will say the police like that. It shows your experience and where you've been, you know, where you've gone to. Elaine McKenzie, hey, Joanna James, I'm also watching from the Highlands. Wow, you guys are in the Scottish Highlands. Wow. Scotland. Some of that good Viking blood, right, from Scotland. So 210 in the chat, 165 with the thumbs up. It's so good to be here. Coffee with Cannon, backyard beverage. Wow. Schmitty, Tiggy, I can imagine you sing with someone playing violin. You have a lovely voice. Tiggy, thank you so much. Casey Plum, fair enough. No opinion then. Pockets full of stones. A pleasure to catch you live. Biento Bill. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Anne, hi from Australia. Look, we're getting people in from all over the world. We got to bring everyone in. Put a shrimp on the barbie. You must get so sick of hearing that, people from Australia, right? Roseanne, that's how they say it in D.C., the police. Yeah, you're right. It's so funny. The popo, or the person, who was the person came in here and said the pigs, you know. Not cool. Not cool. That's a disparaging term, right? T. Terry, I think you should sing at least twice during every show. Great voice. Thank you. Thank you. Schmitty, sayonara, Sergeant Bill. Schmitty, I can't let you go. But thank you, Schmitty. Thanks for stopping by. 211 in the chat. 162. No, 67 with the thumbs up. Police off the cuff, real crime stories. That's our that's our parent company. But we are Coffee with Cannon, backyard beverage, bitching with Bill, just shooting the breeze with fans of Police off the cuff. Shiloh Watts, Northern New York. Sharina Spence, I love that song, Sergeant Bill. It's Wild Mountain Time, right? Beautiful song. I'll learn the words one day. Natalie James, any chance some of Attorney Ray's suggestions coming to fruition? Natalie James, I'm not seeing it, you know. I'm not seeing anything that, you know, especially that the story about the people that Asa Ellerup knew all about swinging. Remember, he suggested that detective and another woman came to their house based on a note that was put on the wall of this swinging club in New York City, right? And I don't know. I'm not... Janine Saffel, having hot tea. Good for you. Why do you think the police are often called? Well, coppers in the UK, because I explained earlier, COP stands for, it's an acronym for Constable on Patrol, and that comes from the Bobbies. So that's why they're called coppers. So, yeah, that happens to be the truth. Nab connoisseur, I need to hop off. Check out Kiara Epis when in Denver. It's Venezuelan. That's that sandwich I still dream about. I must have been visiting. Nab connoisseur, thank you so much for stopping by. I love your title, love your name. Shiloh Watts, Northern New York, she knew, wives know. Shiloh, I agree. When you say Northern New York, what do you mean? Is that like Plattsburgh area? Is that Northern? Because I went to college in Western New York, which is Buffalo. I went to Buffalo State College many, many years ago. A New Hope, you guys like to harm the innocent with direct energy weapons, don't you? New Hope, I don't know where that comes from. Northern New York, Watertown, okay. That's sort of like in the center of the state and then up north, right? Yeah, Watertown. New Hope, what are you? New Hope, someone please eject New Hope. New Hope has no hope, you know. One of the monitors get rid of New Hope. Look at New Hope just spewing poison, you know. Kim, are you seeing this? Eject New Hope. Johanna James, do you think it might be Fred and Rose West? They thought she was nothing to do with that. First, they had 12 bodies in the house and garden. Mountain Cat, I'm not, you know, why are they called bobbies? The British bobbies? It could be that helmet they wear. You know, I'm not exactly sure. I don't know all the history of that. White Rabbi TH, can I get a shout out, please? My name's Mike Hawk Stinks from Chicago. Mike Hawk, White Rabbi THC. there's a shout out. Dee sounds like New Hope got tased and is still butthurt about it. Well, New Hope can't come into someone's chat and just spew nonsense, you know, and hatred. Pauline Buckles, Bobby's on bicycles, 2x2. 205 in the chat, 174 with the thumbs up. I don't know if I'm going to hit 300 today, guys. I worked hard at it. I'm trying to talk to you guys and come up with interesting things, but I don't know. We're at 57:29, and you know I like to just hit that 1 hour mark. Debbie Carroll, have a great day, everyone. Sergeant Bill, be well. Debbie, thank you so much. Diwa Jewelry, Bill, I love your show. I really listen to you on here and your podcast from Newcastle in the UK. Diwa Jewelry, thank you. Thank you so much. Annie from Northern Ireland. Oh, Northern Ireland. In my memory, I will always see the town that I had loved so well, where our school played ball by the gas yard wall, and we laughed through the smoke and the smell. Going home in the rain, running up the dark lane, past the jail and down behind the fountain. Those were happy days in so many, many ways, in the town I loved so well. There's a few bars of the town I love so well. Mandy Morris, moo. That's great. Oh, Molly Malone. Molly Malone. I know that song, but I'm not going to sing it right now. Donna Katila, Bobby's after Prime Minister Robert Peel, who brought law and order to England. Robert Peel is the founder of really policing, of his philosophies. Came to America, right? Lisa Rockers, they think Daybell used that line to pick up chicks, then he started to believe his own power, his ego. Wow. We dropped to 190 in the chat, 179 with the thumbs up, and we're at like 30 seconds left, guys. It's been a fun, it goes by fast, you know. Annie, I love the parents, both past. Dad used to sing The Town I Love So Well. This filled my heart today, and I love your insight and podcast. Annie, thank you so much. I'm glad I could brighten your day in some way. I really am. That's why what life is all about, right? To make someone else's BMW, how you doing? Make someone else's life better, make it more pleasant, put a smile on someone else's face, right? That's why we're all here, isn't it? Hey, it's Jay. Hope everyone has an amazing day. Shiloh Watts, Northern New York. Have a great day. Diane Kiley, love you, P. Thank you, Heather. Whatever. Nice start to the day. Mel Stiller, I'm sending you a special birthday hug for Pauline Buckles. That's great. Pauline, happy birthday. Tiggy, bovines are extremely intelligent and loving animals, so pretty unintelligent to use their name as an insult. You remind me of my dad. He breaks out in song all the time, and he amazes me the songs he knows. Sharina Spencer, Sergeant Bill, I called Bobby's named after Sir Robert Peel, Bobby Peel. That's great. You're right. I know of Sir Robert Peel. I know the history, but I can't remember every single thing, and I'm sorry. I wish and especially when I do these Coffee with Cannons, I have no notes out here or things I can refer to with another screen, so I do the best I can with this old brain I have, It's so crazy. Folks, this has been Coffee with Cannon, Backyard Beverage, Bitchin' with Bill. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We'll see you the next time. Have a great day, everyone, and God bless.